Welcome back. In this video, I'm going to go over how to organize your distance learning environment for Pear Deck. You're going to need to become familiar with three major concepts: the presentation window, the teacher dashboard, and the student view. The presentation window is what the whole class sees. This is the window you would normally show on your classroom projector or TV. The teacher dashboard window is where you control the presentation and view student responses. In an instructor-paced session, changing the slide in the dashboard will also change the slide in the presentation window and on the student's device. When an interactive slide is presented to the students, the presentation window will show the slide and the student devices will show the slide and prompt them to interact with it. The student window will be open on each student's device, showing them the current slide and the interactive prompt for that slide. This is a prompt slide. Students can enter text, which will immediately update on the teacher dashboard. The teacher has advanced to the next slide. This slide has no prompt, so all the student sees is the content of the slide. Advancing the slide again, this is a drawing prompt slide. Now the student can see the slide as well as the various drawing tools that they can use to draw directly onto the slide according to your instructions. These are the four main components of your distance learning environment for Pear Deck. You will have your video conference app window, the presentation window, and the teacher dashboard window open on your device. The students will have the video conference app window and the student view window open on their device. In a traditional brick and mortar setting, your teacher dashboard window would be open on your teacher laptop or teacher desktop device. The presentation window would be projected to your classroom projector or your classroom television for all the students to see simultaneously. Just as they will during distance learning, students would use their own device to connect to the presentation, log in with their school Google account, respond to a brief emotional check-in where they can indicate whether they're feeling good, feeling okay, or feeling not so hot. And then finally, they enter the presentation in that browser window, where if the class is on an interactive response prompt, they can interact. Otherwise, as I've shown before, it will just be a slide. In distance learning, one of the most important skills you're going to need to acquire is the ability to manage multiple windows. You will be having open your presentation window, your teacher dashboard, and your video conference window at the same time. Your students will be responsible for managing two windows: their video conference app window, whether it's Zoom or Google Meet, and their Pear Deck session window. You'll have to leave it up to your students to decide whether they want to place the windows side by side or just go back and forth between them as needed. The students will be able to see the presentation window in their video conference window because you will be sharing it with them through the video conference. To set up your distance learning environment, open the Pear Deck lesson in Google Slides. I will cover creating lessons in the next video. Open the Pear Deck add-on. Click Start Lesson, then select your pacing. Instructor Paced allows you to control what slide the students can see and respond to at all times. Student Paced allows the students to move through the slideshow at their own pace, responding to prompts as necessary. In most cases, you will use instructor paced in synchronous learning time and student paced in asynchronous time on Wednesdays. You can switch between them during a session, so it's possible to use instructor paced to begin a lesson and then release students to finish the lesson independently or in breakout groups at their own pace. For this demonstration, I'm going to select instructor paced to begin the lesson. When the session begins, first you will be sent to the presentation window. Now on mine, the teacher dashboard automatically opens itself in a separate window, so I'm going to put that away for now. The join code will automatically appear in the presentation window, and my strong advice is that the very first thing you should do is you should grab that tab with the presentation window, pull it out, and make it its own separate Chrome window. Then using F11 or the full screen option, make your presentation window full screen. So you have your presentation window and your teacher dashboard. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? There it went. Your teacher dashboard, which I've also made full screen for my convenience. And also you will have your video conferencing app. Hello! These are the three windows that you'll have to have open before you begin admitting students if you're going to use Pear Deck. So I'm all set up now. My students are going to start to join, and I have my three windows open. Notice that I know it originally, earlier in the lesson, I had all three of them on the screen at the same time. I don't recommend that you do that. I was just showing you the three separate windows you needed. I keep everything full screen at all times. If you have two monitors, being able to split some of these windows up between your different monitors might be a big help. For example, having your Zoom or Google Meet on one monitor and your teacher dashboard on the other would be extremely helpful. It doesn't matter where you put your presentation window, as long as it's full screen. So again, I'm going to go back to it using Alt-Tab. Here's my presentation window. It is full screen. Now, in order to display this to my students, I'm going to use the share screen function. So I'm going to open that up. And as you can see, I have multiple options with Zoom to share my screen. I can share my entire first screen, I can share my entire second screen, or I can choose a specific window. So I am going to use my presentation window as my screen share. So that means that all students will be able to see is the presentation window, no matter what window I choose while I'm doing my work, while I'm handling the session, while I'm doing Zoom, while I'm changing slides, while I'm taking attendance, whatever I'm doing. The only thing shared with the students in Zoom will be the presentation window. Okay, and then it's going to probably make Zoom into a little thumbnail for you. I'm going to go ahead and move that to the other monitor to get it out of the way. So now I've got my presentation window is being displayed to the students on Zoom so they can see the join code, they can see where to go, joinpd.com, and put it in. And I have my teacher dashboard, which currently says that I'm projecting the join code. And of course I've got my Zoom in another window that I will use to interact with my students. Once most of your students are in the session and have are in the session successfully, you can click on Close Join Code, which will take you to the teacher dashboard, and you can begin reviewing their responses to the first slide and running your lesson. And now that I've clicked Close Join Code, if we go back to the presentations window, you can see that the join code is gone. So all students are seeing is this slide on the screen share, and of course on their own screens in a separate window on their Pear Deck session, they're seeing the student view, including the prompt. In the next video, I will cover how to create a Pear Deck lesson in Google Slides. And then in the next video, I will demo how it looks to actually run a lesson in distance learning. I hope you found this video helpful, and please subscribe to my channel in YouTube to get alerts when I post more.